Brian is getting very jealous. You're licking your lips, Brian.
I like cake.
He likes cake, don't we all? He's starting, though, with what appears to be a bit of a climb down by the Trump administration in its global trade war. There's no strawberries involved in this, are there?
Not yet, Stuart, unfortunately. A number of signals coming out of the White House indicating that Donald Trump is indeed starting to reconsider some of his tariff policies. The Financial Times reports the president is planning to exempt auto manufacturers from some of his highest tariffs, including the 20% duties on Chinese goods imposed in a bid to force Beijing to crack down on fentanyl exports to the U.S., as well as the 25% global tariffs on steel and aluminum. That comes after urgent lobbying by American carmaker executives who warned the administration of impending job losses and price hikes across the sector. Meanwhile, Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said that the current high tariffs between the U.S. and China are not sustainable, as the administration appears to be angling for a deal with Beijing to de-escalate the trade war between them. The U.S. currently has 145% tariffs on Chinese goods. China has retaliated with 125% tariffs on U.S. goods. The potential decoupling of the world's top two economies has raised fears of a global economic slowdown or even recession. Here's Bessent.
There is an opportunity for a big deal here, that the U.S. is looking to rebalance to more manufacturing. The identity of that would be less consumption. If China is serious on less dependence on export-led manufacturing growth and a rebalancing toward a domestic economy, let's do it together. This is an incredible opportunity.
Well, meanwhile, U.S. states are taking their own action to try to halt the trade war.
They are. 12 U.S. states have filed a joint lawsuit with the U.S. Court of International Trade, seeking to block Trump's tariffs, calling them economically reckless and illegal. Tariff policy powers are normally reserved for Congress under the U.S. Constitution. Trump has claimed the authority to impose them under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977. That law stipulates that the president can use trade policy to deal with an unusual, extraordinary threat to America's security, foreign policy, or economy after first declaring a national emergency. Prior to Trump, the law had never been used by a president to impose tariffs. A number of lawsuits, in fact, have been filed challenging Trump's authority to unilaterally declare trade war without the approval of Congress, including one by California last week. The state is America's top importer. Governor Gavin Newsom says it stands to lose billions of dollars in revenues. The latest suit is being led by Oregon. Here's the state's attorney general.
These tariffs are unlawful. They're chaotic and harmful to the hardworking families and businesses that make our state thrive. And they are not just numbers on a page. They are real costs in all of our wallets, your workplace, and all of our future.
Yes, so Brian, how are the markets reacting to all this latest news then?
So Wall Street posted some significant gains in Wednesday's session. On the Asian indexes Thursday, though, a mixed picture. Japanese automakers got a boost from those reports of car tariff exemptions. Toyota up around 3%, with the Nikkei in Tokyo overall just under 0.5% of gains. Chinese markets not seeing too much benefit. Hong Kong's Hang Seng down around 1%. The Shanghai Composite just barely north of the flat line. Here in Europe, major indexes opening in the red as investors take caution after Wall Street's relief rally. German lender Deutsche Bank warns that markets have not yet priced in recession risk. The DAX in Frankfurt off by around 1/3%. Shares in French luxury group Kering, meanwhile, are down more than 5% just today after announcing that sales at its flagship Gucci brand were down 25% in the first quarter as U.S. and Chinese consumers cut back on luxury purchases. The CAC 40 here in Paris also down 1/3% at the open.
Finally, for business then, the Shanghai Auto Show has opened under the shadow of the ongoing trade war.
More than 70 car makers, in fact, are showcasing their latest models in Shanghai's sprawling convention center this week, including star Chinese brands like BYD. With domestic consumption slumping, they're seeking to export their EVs to the rest of the world. Our correspondent Yenna Lee went to see how they're faring with those mounting tariffs.
At the Shanghai Auto Show, visitors can get a glimpse of what could be the car of the future, as well as the latest features that prepare drivers for all terrains. New energy vehicles, though, are stealing the spotlight.
This is a Chinese EV brand that overtook Tesla in sales last year. BYD sold over 4 million units in 2024, most of it domestically here in China, but more and more abroad.
The EU and the US have slapped tariffs of up to 45% and 100% respectively on Chinese EVs, accusing them of benefiting from outsized government subsidies. Despite this, BYD aims to double its exports in 2025 by targeting markets elsewhere.
At present, BYD's monthly exports are around 40,000 units, including some markets in the Middle East and Southeast Asia.
Chinese innovation in the auto industry is not just about new energy, but also AI. Authorities have issued 16,000 license plates for self-driving cars. Pony AI is one of a handful of companies that have been given the green light to operate taxis on the road.
Our car deceleration or deceleration or even the turn actually are very human-like.
According to the company representative, Chinese consumers and local authorities are open to the idea of driverless vehicles.
Everyone is very, I would say, enthusiastic and also positive for the autonomous driving technology.
While European, Korean and Japanese automakers are now struggling to deal with Donald Trump's new 25% tariff on all foreign cars, Chinese brands have had the time to get used to that reality and are racing ahead.
So obviously, those tariff policies constantly changing. Stuart, we'll see what develops between the US and China in the coming days.
Yeah, bound to be lots more to come on that one, I suspect. Brian, thank you very much.